Do you think Errol Spence is going to fight Terrence Crawford?
I think so.
You do.
Yeah, I think that Errol Spence is gonna push it. I don't think that he's gonna let it go.
So somebody brought this up to me, and I'm curious your thoughts. Showtime has crumbled. So with the contract, does that affect the contract, the rematch clause?
No, I did a video on that too.
You did. Okay.
So what I was told is that it don't it only Terrence Crawford obligations to Errol Spence, not Showtime.
So it doesn't matter.
So it's like equivalent to, remember with Deontay Wilder with the trilogy with Tyson Fury?
I do.
It didn't matter where the fight took place. He owed, when Deontay Wilder took him to court, remember? The judge said, listen, you could retire, but you can't fight nobody else legally until you fight him, or you got to vacate and you're going to be sued.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. So you think it's going to happen?
If Errol Spence decides to take that route, I don't know if he is that hard pressed. I mean, the route of forcing Terrence Crawford going to court and all that type of stuff.
Well, I mean, from what you've heard, right? From what I've heard, Crawford is all he's going to do it. He's not trying to. He's trying to deter it. He's trying to deter it, though, right? With the weight, with the 47, or is that not a thing?
Well, I heard that. So from what I listened to Crawford's interview, and from what I'm being told from people in his team, it's not that he really don't even. It's not a thing, It's not, and it never was. It's not like somebody brought it to Terrence Crawford and he said no.
Okay.
It just was never brought up, so he just assuming it's going to be at 47. So the way people are making it seem as if Errol Spence saying let's fight at 154 and Terrence Crawford is saying no. That it's like it's never been brought. It's never been brought to him. Where we doing this at? What we doing?
I mean, the vibe I got from Steven so-called Nelson was he pretty much said it, and I'm sure you've heard this. He's pretty much just like, we don't really want to do this. I mean, you know what I mean? So what do you I mean, is that the vibe you're getting? Crawford's side is more like, we'll do it if we have to, but we really don't want to.
Exactly. Because it's the place that Terrence Crawford is in, right? If he was 30,
right,
or 26, he's 36.
Right.
He don't want to be in boxing until he already said it multiple times. I'm not trying to fight until my late 30s. He's already 36. Too late for that. You're on the wrong side of 30, 35 now.
Right.
So he's trending into that late 30 area he said he didn't want to be in. And if he don't play ball, they're going to stall him out. Right? Because everything he's looking to close his career is in the hands of somebody else. Unless he just throws his hands up in the air and say, never mind, I don't care. You know what I mean? But really and truly, what he wants to do is fight Canelo. He is with the PBC. He wanted to fight Jamel Charlo. He's still unified. He's with the PBC. Right?
So when you say with the PBC, sorry to cut you off, you're saying that that's going to be a problem?
No, what I'm saying is, do he want to rock the boat with the Errol Spence situation and be like, hey man, I ain't doing this rematch. You understand what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, then what direction you going in?
Right.
Because it's like me and you being the promoters, and we have these fighters, and Terrence Crawford is saying, hey bro, one of our marquee fighters, Errol Spence, gave him the opportunity, right? And now Errol Spence wants his rematch. He wants his opportunity. And then you say no, but then now we supposed to be obligated to give you another fighter that we have under our stable, because then it becomes personal.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It shouldn't, but it will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, do you want to see that fight? I personally do not. The rematch.
I'm 60-40 on it, and 60% say no, 40% say yes. The 40% of me that says yes is because, for one, I think Errol Spence deserves it. For two, and the reason I say Errol Spence deserves it because he gave us, the fans, what we wanted.
True.
He stuck to it. He stuck to it. He stuck to trying to strap season. He failed at the end, the last fight, but he gave us everything. He gave us the Kell Brook fight. He gave us the Sean Porter fight. He gave us the Danny Garcia fight. He gave us the Mike. When it was asked of him, he gave it to us.
Right.
Even the Pacquiao fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got injured.
But it was going to happen.
Even when he got injured, he still came back and gave us what we want. Does it benefit him? Of course. You know what I mean? But still, there's fighters that don't. Keith Thurman ain't giving us what we want. And it could benefit him too. He won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua could benefit and give us the Wilder fight and the Fury fight. He ain't doing it.
No, he's not.
Yeah. So they don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it benefits them. Errol Spence had that car accident, came back, fought Danny Garcia, tried to fight Pacquiao, suffered another setback, an eye injury that was major. Still came back. Unfortunately, Pacquiao lost because that would have been Pacquiao.
Right.
But Pacquiao lost to Ugas. Then he fights Ugas anyway. Then he waits for Terrence Crawford and fights him. Now he lost, but he did it. And against the wishes of the powers that be, he said, "Give him what he wants. I'll sacrifice."
Right.
He did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So through all of that, I think he deserves for us to push for the rematch.
Okay.
If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No. I that's a good perspective. And I agree with you, I suppose. I guess what you said, Bud's on the wrong side of 35,
Exactly.
36.
Right.
So but Canelo made it pretty clear, and tell me if you disagree or if I'm missing something. He doesn't want to fight Bud.
He said it's not in the plans. And what I believe is what happened here is that Canelo Alvarez, he every now and then he'll go off of the script. He's what we don't realize is that Canelo Alvarez is a lot like Gervonta Tank Davis, and we don't look at it that way, right? Canelo Alvarez doesn't deviate from the script.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez, if Eddie Reynoso say this is who we fighting, that's what he gonna do. He ain't gonna say only the last time I remember him doing that was Lara and Bivol.
Okay.
And he arguably lost both.
Right. Okay.
So he don't, so once this script is laid out for Canelo, meaning, they told him, listen, we're gonna go in the direction of this script was already written before Terrence Crawford did what he did.
Exactly.
And now Canelo's like, okay, now y'all want me to fight this guy, but I'm not breaking the script. Right.
So, okay, so if Bud probably has what, 2 fights left? I've been hearing that number thrown out. I don't know if it's true.
I think he'll fight 3 more times.
Okay, so we're looking at Spence. He said he doesn't want to fight Jamel anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Tim Tszyu and Spence?
So now realistically, what his plans is, I don't know, but I had this layout, right? And I said, if he accomplished this, right, where does this put him all time, right? If he has 4 more fights,
okay,
4 more fights, he's 36, he can accomplish having 4 more fights by the time he's mid 37.
Yes.
Right? Now, my plan would be for him, and I would run this past him. Fight Errol Spence, rematch Errol Spence. And obviously this is all hypothetical. We saying he's gonna win, right?
Right.
So fight Errol Spence, you beat Errol Spence. Right? You satisfied the mandatory, you fulfilled your obligation, and on top of it, you gave Errol Spence his opportunity.
Right.
You fight Errol Spence, you beat Errol Spence. Then you make yourself the WBO mandatory for Tim Tszyu.
Right.
You fight Tim Tszyu, you beat Tim Tszyu. Right? You beat Tim Tszyu. Now, what happened was the Jermell Charlo losing to Canelo, it's not that he lost, it's how he lost. Right? He didn't put up what many feel he didn't put up a fight.
Do you agree with that, by the way?
He didn't try. I do feel like he, after a certain point in the fight, I think he realized just how good Canelo is.
Because, like, I'm a little torn with that perspective because, yes, he could have tried harder, but, you know, I've been in the ring many times, and
Right.
people don't realize, even when you're blocking a shot and it's coming off here, he was throwing atomic bombs, Canelo.
Right.
2 weight classes bigger. There's a part of him that's like, I'm not getting hit with this shit again. I'm out of, you know. So it's a weird thing. It's like, and he saw Canelo. He knew that if he engaged, he'd probably get caught and probably go down. So here's the train of thought: do you not want to be a punk and go out and get knocked out, or do you want to just kind of keep your distance, hope to land a counter, change the tide of the fight, if not, whatever, and go back down to your weight class where you're still undisputed?
And that's what I believe he did. But that's what I'm saying. Then it comes. You came to survive.
Right. And but how bad is that when you're fighting somebody bigger?
Well, you know what makes it so bad is this.
But he didn't do any of this for this fight.
No, but he did it, but leading up into it, calling out Canelo.
True. And some people think that his intentions were that from the beginning because he was so somber during the buildup.
Right. Like he was there for a payday.
He knew. Right.
And that's was the, you know this better than anybody. The worst thing you could do in boxing is quote unquote quit.
Right. I mean,
and if you go into the fight already saying I'm just going to survive, you rob the fans.
That's true. I mean, I think that he could have engaged more. I think he could have engaged more for sure. But I don't agree with he's a coward. He didn't try at all.
Oh no, not at all. But the thing is that it's equivalent to this, right? You carried the fans. You knew you couldn't win. You knew you didn't have the mentality to win. Right?
Yeah.
You wasn't gonna go in there. It wasn't you and him.
Right.
And that's the problem. So why you waste our time?
I mean,
you understand?
Yeah. I think I think his intention at first was to try. I don't think he came in there like, you know,
that's why I said I think he, once the bell rung and he realized, like Floyd Mayweather always say, it's different looking at me from out here than in here.
Yeah.
And I think that he realized, oh shit, Canelo is better than I thought. He's probably quicker than he thought. He hit harder than he thought. And so he flipped the switch. I'll live to fight another day.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. But the problem is, you could see it as a former boxer. I could see it as a boxer pundit that grew up in this. But the problem is, when the casual fans could see it, that's where the problem comes in. Because now the whole world saw you went to survive.
Yeah.
You didn't even disguise it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, agreed.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you disguise it and say, all right, man, hey man, you know, like for instance, the Kovalev Canelo fight. It's like some people is like, man, did Kovalev take a dive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looked, and Kovalev came on my page on Instagram and said,
did he?
Yeah, he attached to it, like almost like, hey bro, they told me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want a rematch. Yeah, and he said I want a rematch. And I left it there. If you look at, it's on one of the posts I did with Canelo.
What did he say exactly?
He said something like they knew I wasn't myself, or I wasn't myself, but he made it seem like he knew, like he didn't give it his all, and then he was like, I need a rematch. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't. The one thing I remember about that fight, he was actually beating Canelo.
He was beating him with the jab. You can see that he clearly didn't assert himself.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't see any commitment to any of his punches.
Nothing. He didn't commit to trying to knock him out, trying to hurt him.
Nope.
He again, is like with Jamel. You know, you could see that, bro, sit down on something. Try. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's frustrating. It's like, bro, throw, you know, and then you watch the 5th round with Jamel and Canelo, and it's like, bro, where was that the whole fight?
Yeah.
He did it the 5th round, and then he didn't do it again.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah. So it becomes what happens is that fans have a hard time. It's not me and you, because me and you gonna watch it.
Right.
We the hardcore boxing fans don't count.
Right.
Me and you gonna watch fights that people have no idea who they are.
The funny thing is, people were trying to compare them, because they have the same trainer too. But they're like, "Well, look what Errol did. Errol went out and he just
went
out."
out
I'm
on
like,
the
"Yeah,
street.
but look how we ended up."
And that was the worst thing that happened in Jamel, is that Errol went out like that.
Yeah.
Because even when the referee said enough, Errol was still contesting it. Bro, what?
Yeah.
Don't stop it. Don't do.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, the ref is like, we seen enough. You know what I'm saying? And Errol's like,
enough.
bro, what? Eyes bleeding, nose bleeding, lip bleeding. And he like, bro, give me another round.
Do you believe that there was something that was and is? Because I just saw, I don't know if I'm sure you saw this in the epilogue. Jermell was FaceTiming with Errol.
Mm-hmm.
He had that same heavy eyelid look. His voice, his speech was slurring. Do you think maybe the car accident's catching up to him?
I don't want to say the car accident is catching up to him.
Mixed with the head trauma of boxing?
I think it's just, I almost feel like, because I wonder if you take medication.
What kind of medication are we talking about?
It almost seems like he takes some sort of pain medication.
So I was told before this that there was a rib injury and that he was on painkillers, which those symptoms do look like somebody on painkillers.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Have you heard anything like that, or you're just assuming?
I heard the rib injury, but I didn't hear about the painkillers.
It would make sense.
Right. Because when I saw him on vacation with his wife, he didn't look like that.
When did you see him?
That was like 2 or 3 weeks after the fight.
Oh, you bumped into him?
No. He put it on social media.
Oh, okay. And
she put it on social media.
He didn't have that slurring.
Not at all. And he was dancing. He was,
Interesting.
So that's why I said, I wonder if it's pain medicine that we catch him at times, and he's like drowsy. You know what I mean?
Because like otherwise, if it was a brain thing, it would be always there.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
That's what I was told. Yeah, I was told that it was a rib injury, and that's why the pain med started. But then it's like, why? And people don't realize you're allowed to take painkillers in boxing. That's not illegal.
Right.
But that would impair you.
Right.
A lot. Why would he load himself up the night of the fight?
Yeah, that's wild, man. Because the problem is, what people have when they take painkillers is you don't realize that you're not functioning like you normally function. That's why they always tell you, don't take a painkiller and get behind the wheel of a car, because you'll take a painkiller because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And now you're like, oh man, I feel good. You get behind, before you know it, it's like, man, the road is a little bit paired. You know what I mean?
Right.
But by the time you realize it, you're in full out traffic.
Interesting.
You understand? So that could be a thing, because like I said, when I saw him, when his wife put up the post and he was dancing, and
was he talking?
His eyes was wide open, and
he
didn't have he was like talking to a fan that was taking pictures with him. He didn't have that type of body language. So I wonder if that was the case. You know what I mean?
And to be clear,
he definitely looked like
yeah, his eyelids were he looked, I want to say, either weed,
right,
pain meds, or even maybe some kind of antidepressant or something.
Right.
There's a lot of different
which is it's unfortunate for him, and it's unfortunate for Terrence Crawford.
Right. But to be clear, at least my opinion on this, even if this is true, because a lot of people take what we're saying and go with like, oh, you're discrediting, but I am not. I don't think it would have made a difference. I think if the fight would have been close and Errol was doing something, then I would say, you know what, maybe the rematch has a chance. I don't think he has a chance. I don't think whatever he did would have made a difference. He probably maybe would have had a better performance, but he still probably would have got stopped, in my opinion.
And see, here's the thing, the issue that I have with it, right? Because let's say he was on pain medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel like it did affect the fight, because being on pain medicine, your reaction it sucks.
Absolutely.
It sucks, bro. I took playing football, and I had injured my pec and my lower back
Mm-hmm.
working out, and I'm like, man, take these painkillers. Took them. I didn't feel like I was tired. I didn't feel sleepy, but my reaction was terrible, man.
Yeah.
Terrible, like,
Well,
because it relaxes you.
It's a central nervous system depressant, just like alcohol.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So you so relaxed, it's like, fuck, you can't. You aware consciously. That's why they say don't get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm consciously aware, but I can't react like I want to. It's like.
But then there's also like, if he did that, then it's on him, because what are you doing on the biggest fight? You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said. That's why I said it's unfortunate for him, and it's unfortunate for Terrence Crawford.
I mean, because a lot of people, like, I saw right off the jump something was off with him.
Right.
Oh, but a lot of people don't want to talk about that, because it does, in a way, take away from Terrence Crawford's performance when you say that. It makes, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
1000%. Because it's like, it's like, man, you wasn't yourself, but you shot yourself in the foot.
Right.
So it's not my fault if if you decided, hey, bro, you know what? If, for instance, if you're playing football, Jerry Rice versus Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying? If Deion Sanders got a toe injury and he don't tell nobody, and he decided to take a painkiller, when Jerry Rice light his ass up, you shouldn't have did it. Don't come out here.
Right.
Postpone it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Postpone.
Because you that would make you. It's like Achilles. You ever saw that movie Troy?
I did, but I don't remember much about it.
So there was a part, where Achilles was the greatest warrior out of Greece, I believe it was, and Troy was the greatest warrior from Troy. I mean, Hector. Hector was the greatest warrior from Troy, right? And everybody everybody wanted to see them fight, right? And Hector ends up squaring off with a kid, Achilles' nephew, not knowing it's Achilles' nephew, that looked just like him. Literally had his armor on, everything. Looked just like him, moved like him, everything, because Achilles taught him. Right? Hector kills him. Now, when they fighting, they surround Hector and what they think is Achilles. Achilles laid up with 3 women. It ain't him. It's his nephew. So everybody surrounds to watch this. This is finally what we get. He kills Hector's nephew, takes his mask off, realizes it's not Achilles. Achilles gets pissed. He don't want nobody there now. He don't want nobody to witness this. He goes by himself to confront Hector, and just by himself against Hector and his whole army. Calls out Hector, just screaming for him. Hector comes out, they fight. As they're fighting, he jumps up and he tries to spear him. Hector trips over a rock and twists his ankle. When he twists his ankle, it's the most famous part in the movie. Achilles takes his sword and points it at him and tells him, "Get up. I will not let that rock take my glory." Right? Because I don't want nobody to say it was that rock. That is the reason why I'm about to kill you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what Terrence Crawford is going through. It's the get up moment. You know what I'm saying? That you letting this is taking my glory.
Yeah, I wish Errol would address it, because it took him a while, and he finally addressed the whole drop of the mouthpiece and that weird reaction, which He ended up explaining it was but we were like, what are you doing? Yeah. I wish he would explain something, but he's not like that, I guess.
Yeah, because he kept the same mouthpiece he had before he had all of the dental repair.
Right, and he was worried about he was more embarrassed. If anything, it was more an insecurity.
It was embarrassment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't want his teeth falling out, which is like, I personally wouldn't give a fuck, but I guess everybody's different.
What it is he didn't want people to think he got hit and somebody knocked his teeth out.
Right.
When his teeth was already loose.
Good point. Yeah.
So it's embarrassment because if my teeth loose and I get in a street fight and somebody hit me and my tooth come out, motherfucker's gonna be like, oh, he just knocked his teeth out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my tooth is already loose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I tell you, hey, my tooth was already loose, they're gonna be like, nah.
Yeah, sure it was.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. No, I know he knocked your tooth out. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. But yeah, it's that moment, man. I wish. Let me tell you what I wish.
Okay.
I wish Errol Spence comes out and tells the truth. And that way, in the rematch, there can't be no excuses.
Right. I mean, and we don't know what the truth. I mean, do you think? Okay, let me ask it to you this way: what percentage of a chance out of 100% do you think that there was nothing going on with Errol? That was just an ass whooping he took.
I definitely think we know this as athletes. You never go into anything 100%.
That's true.
Because the build up in the training, nobody goes in no sport. Not in basketball, football, boxing, baseball. You put your body through such a grueling preparation that it's only right that it takes a toll. Sure. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that Errol Spence, something was up.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I don't, like you said, I still don't believe he's the better fighter. I just think Terence Crawford is the better fighter.
He is a better fighter. So something was up. But now what you're telling me, which is kind of what I assumed something was up, and I heard the painkiller theory, it does make me feel a little more excited to see the rematch, thinking, well, maybe it could be more competitive.
And that's why I said I would like Errol to come out and just tell what was going on.
Right, but
I know he don't want to make up an excuse, but I wish he would just come out and say, hey, bro, even if he was on painkillers, bro, I was on these painkillers because of my rib. It won't be like that. You know why I want him to do that? Because if Terence Crawford duplicates what he did, now we just know he was just better.
But I think even if won't we know that no matter what? Even if he beats him again, we're still, and he doesn't say anything?
I believe that, but it's always going to be the Mike Tyson effect. Mike Tyson lost to Holyfield, and Holyfield never give his props because it's always going to be, well, he was never the same guy. He went to jail. You know, he lost to Buster Douglas. You know, from that point on, Customato died. You know, it's always
right.
Holyfield never get his just dues, and then Lennox Lewis even worse never give it. It's like him and Lennox Lewis never even fought.
Lennox Lewis is one of the most underrated heavyweights in history, I think.
And it's like Lennox Lewis and Tyson didn't even fight.
Yeah, because they feel like Tyson was so far past.
Right.
They were the same age, weren't they?
Yeah. But the thing is, like the Holyfield fight, you know, it's like, well, if that was Mike before Buster Douglas,
what do you think?
I think with the Terence Crawford situation, styles make fights. I think Evander Holyfield's style and grit, even before the Buster Douglas fight, would have been too much for Mike Tyson.
You might be right. I do contend that Mike Tyson, the one who beat Spence, could give any heavyweight in history, would beat possibly any heavyweight in history. Possibly.
Right.
But when you're dealing with somebody like Lennox, who's 6'6" and has all that range and that power, and yeah, you're right. I mean, and Evander,
you ever watch? I always point to these two fights, and I love Mike Tyson. And I'm a New Yorker, so I'm biased, right?
Right.
I love Mike Tyson. I love all New York boxers. I never ever zabbed nobody.
Right.
Only time I ever said Zab was gonna lose was the Floyd fight.
Right.
That was it. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those people you know, not this time, you know, when Zab fought this person, oh nah, Zab going, you know, when he fought Cotto, I'm like, he gonna be I just one of those people, right? But when you watch Mike Tyson versus Razor Ruddock, and you watch Mike Tyson first fight with Frank Bruno, watch his body language when he get hit. With in both fights, he got hit clean with left hooks. Look at his body language. His body language was the same body language he had when he got older. It's just that when he got older, he made the decision to throw in the towel.
Well, I agree with Bruno. That was the first fight, if I recall, that he started looking like, wait a second.
Exactly.
But with Razor Ruddock, I disagree there. I think with Razor Ruddock, that his mentality, his skills were flawed because he wasn't doing the custom model style. Kevin Rooney was gone. He was getting hit more, but his mentality, like, you remember the point when he's like, go ahead, and then Razor just popped him, but he didn't get.
But watch, before he drops Razor Ruddock, Ruddock is going to catch him with a left hook. Look at it. He dropped his hands and almost and took a sigh, like, do I want to do this shit?
Okay, I'll look for that. I don't remember seeing that. I'll look for it.
Go back and watch it, right? He dropped his hands and he's like, I just had a clip of that. He dropped his hands and he's like, but then he put his hands up and he catches Ruddock, bang, and drops him, you know, and you know that gives you energy. That gives you momentum.
Right.
That gives you, you know, like, oh shit, I can, you know, it rejuvenates you.
Right.
But right before that, he got hit, boom, and he's like, and dropped his hands, and he's like, then he put his hands up like lethargic, you know, like very like, we still gotta do this shit. And then he came forward and he caught him overhand. Boom.
I remember more the hitting his chin, like, hit me again, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
that's the mentality I remember him having in that.
Right. Yeah, go back and watch that. And now that I'm telling you, now look at his body language when he got hit. The same body language when he got hit by Frank Bruno. It's just he was able to overcome those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When he got hit by Holyfield, right? And he hit Holyfield back, and Holyfield didn't. He didn't. See, that's the thing. When he hit Bruno, they reacted. When he hit Razor Ruddock, they reacted. When he hit Holyfield, he didn't react.
Nah.
And that's the difference.
Right. And people don't realize, I saw that with Spence and Crawford, because Spence landed a couple clean shots and it nothing.
He didn't. Terrence Crawford didn't react. And that's why I said, when he hit Ugas reacted. That's why I said it gives me the Holyfield, Mike Tyson situation with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. That's why I wish that Errol Spence would come out and say, you know what? I had a rib injury, so on and so forth. This time, I'm going in 100%. So now Crawford fights, he wins, he'll get 100% his credit.
Well, okay, so they're probably going to fight again. You think it's going to be December, January?
No, I think it's going to be probably late February, maybe March.
Okay, so they fight again. The odds are heavily that Terrence wins. And then Crawford at that point fights probably Tim Tszyu.
So I was saying this, right? Imagine if Crawford was able to do this. Imagine if he made himself the WBO mandatory. He beats Errol Spence. He makes himself the WBO mandatory. He fights Tim Tszyu. He beats Tim Tszyu. Now him and Jermell Charlo fight is rejuvenated, because now he got the WBO belt. Jermell Charlo's still a unified champion. They fight for undisputed. It makes sense, right? It'll sell now, right? Jermell Charlo fights his mandatory. I forgot the dude name, the Russian kid. He fights him. He beats him. Now we got undisputed, right? We got a talking point. We got a storyline. We got undisputed. Terrence Crawford beats Jermell Charlo. He's undisputed in 3 separate weight classes.
First ever.
3 separate weight classes, right? He's already considered the best fighter in the world. Now you're not jumping 3 weight classes, you're jumping 2.
Right.
Now the Canelo fight gets even bigger than what it is right now. Because now you're a 3-division undisputed champion, and you widely acknowledged as the best fighter in the world. Canelo can't turn you down now, and it gives Canelo opportunity and time if he fights David Benavidez next. If Benavidez beats if he beats Andre,
which I personally think David Benavidez is one of the most underrated fighters in boxing. I think people look at him like a big lumbering guy who has no defense.
Oh, he has fast hands. He's smart. The problem with Dave Benavidez that I constantly see consistently is that his defense, man, and his foot.
I'll tell you, man, when he fought Plant, I saw good shades of I saw good waist movement. I saw a lot of defensive awareness. Now he didn't have to use it as much because he was walking Plant down. But
even that fight, man, Plant was making him miss bad. Plant made him look bad early, man. He couldn't find him, couldn't catch up to him. Plant didn't commit to much, right?
I guess to me, like, I get what you're saying, but when somebody's chasing somebody else, I don't really look at it as bad. I look at it, he was just chasing them, and Plant was able to get away. But Plant was, like you said, he wasn't committing anything.
Yeah, he wasn't committing enough. So my thing is like, that's why I tell people, man, don't put the carriage before the horse with Andre.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Andre, but I think Benavidez does walk through him. But Canelo, for some reason, doesn't want to fight Benavidez. I mean, he's been a mandatory for 4 years.
Yeah, but I think Eddie Reynoso just don't like the matchup.
Do you blame him?
Yeah, but the thing is it's a winnable fight for Canelo for me, man. Mm-hmm. Very winnable. It's like the thing is his fatigue going to show up? Because if Canelo don't fatigue, he's going to win the fight.
See, when Plant fought Benavidez, I said the same thing. So many people were choosing Plant, and I just didn't see it. There's nothing in those two men's styles that I saw where Plant wins that fight. And the same thing with Canelo. Canelo's better because he has power. But he's too small, like in terms of size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I don't. What's Canelo going to do with that speed and that aggression and that power coming at him and the range where Canelo's going to have a hard time actually landing on Benavidez because he just has to do a couple inches of waist movement and Canelo's going to miss.
Yeah, but you know what it is that Canelo's power, his ring IQ, and his combination punches going to the body, I think that the activity of David Benavidez is going to drop. Because Canelo Alvarez is an extremely, extremely good counterpuncher.
He's good.
And he has very good timing. Even there's times where you see, and Bivol and Benavidez are probably about the same height, same size. Yeah. And if you go back and watch the Bivol fight, Bivol is a much more craftier fighter than Benavidez.
He is, but I don't think he hits as hard, and he doesn't.
No, but he's more precise and a better boxer. So Benavidez. So Bivol, even Canelo was catching him at times. He just couldn't catch him enough, because of his foot movement, his angles, and his ability to put himself out of harm's way. That's not who Benavidez is.
No, he's not.
He's going to be there.
But who Benavidez is, he has that Bud Crawford in him where if they start getting into an exchange and Canelo hits him a little, it's gonna rev him up and get his competitive spirit so much higher, but not in a bad way, not in a stupid, in a cautious way. I just don't see Canelo beating Benavidez. The only person who I think could beat Benavidez is if he goes up to 75, fights guys more his size, Bivol or Biev. Maybe those guys could beat him, but not.
Yeah, I think Andre might beat him, man.
I'm hearing a lot of that. Does Andre have power?
Southpaw. Andre is 6 feet tall. His arms is just about as long. That dude is slick. He got power. Him and Benavidez and Andre probably got about the same amount of power.
Really?
But he's slicker. The problem with Andre is inactivity. he just hasn't been active, and he's shown like issues with stamina lately. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So if that rears his head, then he's gonna be in trouble.
I'm a little ignorant to Boo Boo,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going more off what I've seen from Benavidez, and I'm talking. I mean, I've seen him clips of him at 15 years old sparring Kelly Pavlik, and the shit that I've seen from him, he's really a special fighter. So,
Oh, for
that's
sure, no doubt.
more what I'm going on.
Benavidez is definitely a special fighter. The problem that I have is that, you know, just that the defense and the foot movement, man. He's crafty. He's fast hands. He's aggressive. He's durable. He's big. He's a load because he puts a lot of physical and mental pressure on you.
I think he's going to prove even to you that his defense is better than you think, when he has to. You know, because a lot of fighters, a lot of times will be in there and we don't mind taking a couple shots to give a couple once we feel what's coming at us. But then there's the opposite, like Jamel Charlo just experienced. Sometimes you feel something, you're like, nope, I'm not going to take that. So, you know, that'll be interesting.
But hey, I got to get out of here, great brother.
All right, my man. I appreciate.
You going on tomorrow?
Yeah.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
All right, done.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll hit you later. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, great brother.
Peace.